Good morning. I'm Dr. Mrs. Sunita Tiwari from CMDPG College, Bilaspur. I'm presenting a lecture on William Congreve's play, The Way of the World, for Hemchand University, Durg. First, I would like to talk about the writer and the age. The writer, William Congreve, he was born on 24 January 1670 in Yorkshire and he died in 1729. He was an English playwright and the poet of the Restoration period. William Congreve shaped the English comedy of manners through his use of satire and well-written dialogues. His career as a playwright was a successful one, but a brief period, because he has written only 5 plays from 1693 to 1700. The reason behind it was in response to the change in the taste of the audience, of the public, as the public turned away from this sort of highbrow sexual comedy of manners in which Congreve had specialized. We can talk about his 5 plays. The first play which he wrote was The Old Bachelor, which was written in 1693, The Double Dealer in 1694, Love for Love in 1695, The Mourning Bride in 1697, and The Way of the World in 1700. Restoration comedy is English comedy written and performed during the Restoration period from 1660 to 1700. The term restoration, it refers to the return of the monarchy to England after almost more than a decade of Puritan rule. Its main features of Restoration drama was reopening of theatres which were closed down during the Puritan age, formation of new acting companies, and particularly the first appearance of women on English stage. Because up till now, women were not allowed to act on stage in any drama. Even during the time of Shakespeare, we find young boys doing the role of women. Now, the greatest achievement of the Restoration theatre was in the field of comedy. The English comedy of manners. This was pioneered by Sir George Etheridge, who was inspired by French and Spanish masters and dramatists, particularly the works of Molière. This form was later on perfected by Congreve in his sophisticated work like Love for Love and The Way of the World. The unsentimental comedies of John Dryden, William Wycherley, and George Etheridge, they reflected the atmosphere of the court and celebrated the lifestyle of the unremitting sexual intrigues and conquest of the aristocratic class. In the second part of the Restoration drama, in the second wave, we can call it the Renaissance of Restoration drama, because we find a definite change. Here in 1690s, we see comedies of William Congreve, John Vanbrugh, which are softer in tone and they reflect mutating cultural perceptions and great social change. The writers and dramatists, they set out to appeal to more socially mixed crowd and audience, keeping in mind particularly the middle class, which were up till now, they were left apart. They focused on moving the war between the sexes from the arena of intrigue into that of marriage. And here, during the later part of Restoration drama, we find a shift on the marital status and relationships after the marriage. Restoration comedy is also used as a synonym of comedy of manners. The comedy of manners is also called as the anti-sentimental comedy. It is a form of comedy which satirizes the manners and affectations of the contemporary society, and questions societal standards about morality particularly. It often sacrifices the plot. We find it is more based on some scandal to witty dialogue and sharp social commentary. Restoration comedy, it made fun of affected wit, acquired follies of the time. Masterpieces of comedy of manners here at that time, we can name a few dramatists over here. They were the plays of William Wycherley, his famous work, The Country Wife, which was written in 1675. William Congreve, The Way of the World in 1700. Oliver Goldsmith, She Stoops to Conquer in 1773. Richard Brinsley Sheridan, his work, The School for Scandal in 1777. Here we find that this comedy of manners is particularly related with the manners and attitudes of the characters. And the audience, they laugh at them about this pursuit of sex and money. It is very well said, commented on by the historian George Norman Clark in the later Stuarts. He argues, I quote, "The best known fact about Restoration drama is that it is immoral. The dramatists did not criticize the accepted morality about drinking, gambling, love, pleasure generally, or try, like the dramatists of our time, to work out their own view of character and conduct. What they did was, according to their respective inclinations, to mock at all the restraints. Some were gross, others were delicately improper. The dramatists did not merely say anything they liked, they also intended to glory in it and to shock those who did not like it." Close quote. During the 18th and 19th century, we see a distaste in such romantic comedies. These comedies, they were not appreciated due to moral impropriety. But at the turn of the 20th century, we see a change in the likings of people, of critics as such, that these comedies, they have been acknowledged as a rewarding subject for high theory analysis. So here, the Restoration comedies, they play a very important role in changing and in giving shape to the morality and behavior of people. And they are talking about and making fun of what weaknesses people had. So in the second part of my lecture, I'll be talking about the way of the world and the plot of the play. Thank you.